Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Breakthrough Moment podcast. Special guest, Lee Broders. Thank you so much for jumping on today, Lee.
You're more than welcome, and it's a pleasure to be here.
I'm excited to interview you. You're a man of many talents, and you've got an incredible skill set in scaling businesses and helping businesses grow. So everyone at home, let me quickly introduce Lee. Lee's actually a British Army veteran. His business career spans over 2.5 decades, and he has a Master's of Law, Master's in Business Mentoring, as well as life coaching, and specifically helps business owners that are between the $0 to $250,000 mark, and then 250,000 up to 7 and 8 figures. And so this is going to be a super powerful chat, everybody. So like, share, and comment wherever you're seeing this video. So without further ado, Lee, we'd love to know what are your breakthrough moments throughout your career?
So, as you said, I've done 2.5 decades. That does make me feel old, let alone sound old. But you have breakthrough moments every part of your business and every part of your life. And for me, there's bits that I learned in the military that when I applied them to business, I realised that they were my breakthrough moments. So a couple that I'd like to share, if that's at all possible, is resilience, keeping and going. You learn it in the military. Everyone has the ability to do it, and it's a skill that you can learn. It's not something that we're born with innately. And when you actually keep going and don't give up, it's important to understand that we don't know when that breakthrough is going to happen. Starting a business is hard, and I never lie about that, because having started a few, more importantly, failed at more, it's understanding that if you keep going, that next person you speak to could be the client that you want. It could be the next person you speak to is the person who's going to tell your business through the stars. So for me, I suppose one of the biggest breakthroughs is resilience and keeping going and not giving up. And that's something I learned in the military, and actually have done it multiple times in the businesses that I've worked with, not only mine, but also with mentees, keeping them on track and not giving up.
It's a word that we hear a fair bit, is just to persevere, keep going, resilience. But I guess, how did they teach it in the Army? Are there any tips? Are there any strategies? Like, is it born? Is it developed? Is it conditioned? Because it's sometimes easier said than done,
It is easier said than done. And I suppose in the military, we have instructors there pushing us on, gently encouraging us. No, they're not. When I joined, it was they would push you, and push you, not letting you go and fail. It is something you can learn. As I said, it's not an innate skill that we're born with. Like all skills, we're able to learn them and enhance them as we grow and mature in business and as a person. I find that me having mentors and coaches through my career has helped me, and I now do the same with my mentees, helping them realise that they don't have to give up, and that they can and have the strength and the word resilience. It's a strength to keep going. And as I said, how do you learn it? Well, actually, you put yourselves in positions that make you feel uncomfortable. Stepping out of your comfort zone. And I like the phrase of learning to be comfortable being uncomfortable. So I think about the military. I used to hate running. And to be truthful, I served with Commando and UKSF forces. Both of those courses that I did, I failed the first one. And then it was going back and keeping on going, not giving up. And how do you do that? Well, actually, that's by creating an open mindset, so that you're willing to learn and willing to listen and put yourself forward, I suppose, is the best way to say.
Can you give us an example of where you personally had the resilience and what breakthrough that created for you and your business or businesses?
Yeah. So You mentioned I did a Masters of Law. I did that at 47, so 2017. I went through burnout during that time. Now, I thought, well, I do have a resilient mind. And I kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And I experienced burnout. It's a horrible thing. However, what happened to me then was pivotal in what I do now. So I started to speak to a couple of therapists. I then spoke to a couple of life coaches. And one of them said, why don't you do it, Lee? You learn it to help yourself, not to coach others. So I actually went off and got accredited as a life coach, NLP and CBT practitioner. Now, if I hadn't done that, I would have pushed myself and been resilient with the masters and the business. I was also, let me square this away, I was running my other businesses at the same time, as well as doing the full-time Masters in Law. So I then obviously got accredited and certified as a life coach, NLP and CBT practitioner. And I thought, yes, I'm now a life coach and people will just come to me. The film Field of Dreams, if you build it, they will come. It's great when they're spirits, but when you're asking people to do it, it doesn't work as well. So I'd started my life coaching practice and no one came. And I was like, oh, what am I doing wrong? My marketing was there, people I was speaking to, nothing happened. I started pro bono, as most businesses. Oh, well, let's see how it goes and that. It took me 6 months to get my first paying client. 6 months, and I was like, oh my God, this isn't how it's supposed to work. But I've got a paying client now, great. It took me another 3 months to get my next paying client. Now, there were times in that first 6 months I thought, have I done the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? What am I doing wrong? Now, it was the resilience to keep going because as I said, I didn't know that the next person I was going to talk to wanted or needed life coaching. And life coaching is a very broad range of skills. So that was for me. And then when I got the first one, yes, great. I was chuffed a bit. And then the next one didn't come for a time. Now, during that 9 months, roughly, there were many times I questioned myself. I questioned my business, my thoughts, everything about not being resilient. And I had a mentor who was a business coach at the time, and he just said, Lee, you have to keep believing that it will happen. You have to keep pushing on, because if you don't keep pushing on, you might fail just before you finish or before you get your first client. And the reason I say that is the analogy I use is if you're doing a marathon or a half marathon or a 10K or even a park run, and you're running and you're struggling, which people do when they run. And I know some ultra athletes, should I say, they do marathons, not just running, but biking and other things. And it hurts. So if you think that you're doing a run and you've got 10K to do, and they've not measured it 100% right, and you get to your 10K on your watch and you go, done it, and stop, but the finish line's 100 meters in front of you, but you've done your 10K. That's it. I've done it. And so many people in business actually do this. They set their business up, they get it going, and then they stop before they don't give it the time it needs to start maturing or start bringing in the income they need, because they fall into the fear factor. The chimp brain, the animal brain, whatever you want to call it, starts telling them, oh no, you need to do this. Well, the business isn't working, go and get a job, because that's what we've always been told to do. At school, we're told, do well, go to university, get a well-paid job. If you don't, you end up doing a menial job for not a lot of money. So I think that's the thing, is keeping going. And it doesn't have to be someone who's accredited or got a master's. It needs to be someone that you can talk to. And this ties into having an accountability partner or an accountability group. Someone that you tell what you're going to do. I'm going to start this business. I want to make 50,000 in the first year, 100,000 in the first year, 500,000 in the first year. And this is how I'm going to do it. So having someone to actually be on your side and keep pushing you is, for me, essential. I've had it myself. I personally have had coaches and mentors going forward, and I do exactly the same with my mentees and my coaches now, working with them, keep them on track, keep them engaged, and to keep them going, if that makes sense.
For sure. For sure. Super inspiring. Yeah, it's important to focus on the goal, keep going, and be flexible on the way through, and just it's all about the mindset. So I'm curious to know, in terms of mindset, if you've been in this journey for quite some time, if you could actually change, you go back to the beginning of your journey and change one thing, what would that one thing be, do you think?
This is a question that I get asked a lot. And not even when. Problem is, and have you ever seen Back to the Future, the film Back to the Future? And if I was to change one thing at the beginning, I would not be who and where I am now. So in the film, Marty McFly starts to disappear because his mum and dad don't get together. Well, I think quantum physics is great, which is a different matter altogether. But if I was to change one thing, how would that affect what I'm doing now? And that could be, if I'd done well at school, I might not have joined the army, or might not have struggled as much as I did when I first joined the army. And if I'd not joined the army, I wouldn't have met my first wife. So I canoed for the army and the combined services, so I wouldn't have met her. If I'd not met her, I wouldn't have left the army, because one of the reasons I left the army was I had small children, a young family, and I was spending a lot of time away. So if I hadn't left the army or hadn't joined the army, where would I be now? I've no idea. I think I would say, if I could have done, I'd have probably invested more into the businesses when they were doing well, as opposed to struggling in the first few years when you start up a business. But that's changed. And like I said, I don't know whether you meant. So I've got a property portfolio. I coach and mentor now for the love of it, because I became financially free a few years back, through a property portfolio. All that stems from the decisions I made and the actions I took years ago to become where I am now. So it's really hard. What would I change? I don't think I'd change anything, to be truthful, because I'm happy with who I am. I'm happy with my life. And it's a question you do get asked, and it's one that I've pondered many times. So yeah, I suppose that's it. I'm where I am now because of what I've done and where I'm going. And what I will say is, I also look at life as a journey. I know what the destination is. We all know what the destination is, and it's about enjoying the journey, not racing to the destination, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Yeah. Enjoy the process. Enjoy the process. These are words of wisdom. This is great. So, the world's changing a lot, and we have AI and technology literally disrupting and shifting different industries. Do you feel like this, it's going to change every industry, and it continues to right now, but how do you think AI and software is going to change your industry, per se, with business?
So that's an interesting. I wrote an article or got interviewed and wrote an article for Authority magazine on exactly this, and it was the top 5 trends to affect the coaching industry. And part of it was about AI. Now, I embrace technology. My first business was building personal computers back in 1995 when I first left the military. The thing is, AI is a tool, and it's the same as, let me go back. I was brought up in Birmingham. In Birmingham, there was the Long Bridge, and they used to make cars. And it all used to be on a line, and it used to be done by hand. And then what happened was they brought in robots to do it. And then it moved on. It's closed now, and but was that everyone is fearful of technology and advancement, and they shouldn't be. They should be embracing it, because at the end of the day, the lives that we're living now, and you mentioned AI. AI is a great tool, but that's all it is. And I must admit, I often ask Alexa of whether they're a member of Skynet. And some people won't get that, but it's a Terminator reference to what was said in the article, and what I say now is, certainly in mentoring and coaching, there are ways to use AI to track and to look at things. However, the same as a lot of businesses, people who do copywriting, people who do softwares, design softwares, you don't have a software that designs itself yet. But if you use the technology as the tool that it is, you always need to have the human element. Now, if you think, I always like to say that as us, we've got 4K videos and that. Well, think about what our eyes are, how much information they take in, smell, our brain, what size computer is the brain that we have? How many hundreds of millions of thousands of petabytes and terabytes does our brain save and even process? And I think it's the amygdala. Our brain protects us from all the input we get in. So, and how is it explained to me is, unless you buy a yellow Jeep, you won't see a yellow Jeep. Then you'll see lots of yellow Jeeps. And that, I use yellow Jeep because of, someone actually came into the photography studio, and she had a yellow Jeep, and I'd not seen one before. In the following weeks, I saw about 5. So once your brain focuses on that, it'll do it. But going back to, I digress, going back to AI or technology, it's a tool. And if you don't embrace those tools for whatever way you're going to do it, and use them as a tool and not as a crutch, and think that they will replace a human being, you'll get on fine. As soon as you start fearing technology and thinking, oh, it's going to take my job, you then go into a scarcity mode, a panic mode, whatever, and you're fearful. And let's face it, our brain's designed for fight and flight. So for me, embrace technology, use it for your best advantage, and don't fear it. Because hopefully Skynet's not going to happen.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Hopefully nothing worse as well. But yeah, no, that's a really good point. And I've got a couple more questions to wrap this up.
Yeah.
I'm super curious to know, like, with all the breakthroughs that you've been through and all the people that you've helped and business owners that you've helped, what would be one piece of advice that you'd like to give to entrepreneurs that would help them through their breakthrough?
I think it would be take action. You hear that knowledge is power, which it possibly is. But as a person, I could read all the books in the world. I could know everything about everything. But nothing's going to change until I take action on my knowledge. So for those people who are aspiring entrepreneurs and are thinking, well, maybe I could start a business, or maybe I want to start a business. How? Well, the only way to do it is do it. For those business owners that have got established businesses and they want to grow, actually do it. Take action. Look at a plan, create a plan and go, how am I going to do this? Break that goal into actionable tasks and then get it done. No, the reason I say that is I've found that the most valuable commodity is time, because we don't have enough of it, and it's a finite amount that we have in our life. So don't waste it. We can't buy time back, but we can buy time into the future. And by that, I mean, we can actually, as a business owner, we can automate and delegate certain processes and tasks. So I suppose going back to anyone is do it. The only thing that's going to stop you doing anything is you. So whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're a business owner, even if you're talking about things in life, if you don't try it, you don't know it can be done. And listening to other people who tell you it can't be done are normally the people who have not done it or would even consider doing it. Because we're, as individuals, we listen to other people that don't have the knowledge, the experience, or the courage to do what we want to do.
Couldn't agree more. Action is the defining factor, isn't it?
Yeah. So I was going to say, so that the knowledge equals power, it should really be knowledge plus action. Power.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And final question. I'd like to know, Lee, the challenge that you have for the audience today. We've covered a few key elements of mindset and entrepreneurship and philosophy and in doing life and business, and really which allows us to get better results and become a better human in the process, which is amazing. What would be the challenge that you'd like to suggest or offer or inspire the audience today?
This is it's a relatively, I'll say relatively easy challenge. Now, whether you're an employee, whether you're thinking about starting a business, whether you're already running a business or want to grow a business, what I will say as your challenge is to think about your direction and your desired destination. With your desired destination, think about what's the biggest goal that you can think of. What's your dreams? And then from your dreams, write that down. That dream then becomes a goal. Think about what your mission is, how you're going to do it, so that you can actually take action and put the steps together in a plan, if you want to call it a plan, so that you can make the changes in your life, in your business, to actually have the life that you desire and deserve. So think about what your ultimate dream is. It could be owning a business. It could be having £100 million. And then look at how you're going to get there. And good luck.
That's the way. How can people get in touch with you, Lee?
So if you Google me, I normally come up. Hopefully I do. But I'm on all the social media channels as you would. So Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. My website is www.leebroders.com, and also my business website for business owners is www.businessgrowth.global. Happy to have a chat with anybody. Time doesn't cost. So therefore, if you want it, I offer a 20-minute call to anyone and everyone, just to actually get in touch with people and speak to people. Going back to the AI, it's human relations that are the most important part in my life. So that's how you can contact me. Happy to have a chat with anybody about breakthrough moments. And yeah, looking forward to meeting some people.
Oh, awesome. This has been great. Thank you so much for the knowledge. Thank you so much for the stories and the insights. This is the inner workings of the inner workings that create the breakthroughs on a daily basis. As you said, breakthroughs are happening every single day. So it doesn't just because most people get stuck in a breakdown and don't have the breakthrough. So this is super helpful. So thank you so much for your time, and look forward to speaking soon, Lee. Thank you.